Mario RPG is seen as a cult classic amongst many JRPG fans. What makes this game unique is that it featured both Nintendo and Squaresoft working together on a Mario-based RPG. This great game, unfortunately, never reached the popularity as that of Final Fantasy VII, but it definitely has made a name for itself despite not reaching the level of popularity that of Final Fantasy VII. When Nintendo announced during one of its Nintendo Direct showcases, they showed a preview of a remastered Mario RPG, and it created massive level of excitement for those who have played it, but also some intrigue for those who haven't played it yet. In this video, I'm going to go over some things that are the same in the game, and the things that are new and different in the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's start with what is the same about the game. Super Mario RPG on the Switch stays very faithful to the original art style, but it's now in full 3D as opposed to 3D-esque visuals from the Super Nintendo. This game is still top-down, and every single inch of the game is visually preserved in the remake. Now let's get to the meaty part of this video. What is different about this game? Let's start with the remastered soundtrack. Along with new visuals, the second thing that will stand out to fans of the original is the brand new soundtrack. Rearranged with supervision from the game's original composer, Yoko Shimura, the new game is absolutely fantastic, completely in line with the charm of the Super Nintendo game's sound, all while giving it a nice makeover. If you don't like it though, you can swap back to the 16-bit soundtrack if you really want to at any time. Also, once you've beaten the game, you can access the sound player in the journal section of the menu and listen to all the music, remastered or original, whenever you want. Difficulty modes. The Switch version allows players to switch between two different difficulty modes. You can either play in normal mode, which is the standard difficulty setting for the game, or if you're struggling to get through some of the toughest fights, you can play through the game on Breezy. You can change this at any time by going into the system settings in the game menu. Breezy mode not only makes battles much easier, but you also gain more experience from fights, meaning you'll level up quicker. One thing fans will notice is that some characters, items, and attack names are different. I won't list all of them here, but here are a few notable ones. First of all, Princess Peach wasn't always Princess Peach in Mario RPG. She was known as Princess Toadstool, which was her name since the mid-80s in Super Mario Bros. In Japan, she was always known as Peach, but that didn't really stick in America until Super Mario 64. Now everyone knows her as Princess Peach, so the name change just made sense. Some of the bosses got brand new names too. Mac is now called Clay Morton. Personally, I think Mac is a better name, but that's just me. And Yordovich is simply known as Spearovich. The same goes for some NPCs such as Frog Fuchsius, who is simply known as the Frog Sage. Items and weapons have been renamed too. Kero Kero Cola is now called Karaka Cola. And one attack that has been renamed, Mallow's Thought Peak, used to be known as Psychopath. Autosave. Super Mario RPG on the Switch has an autosave feature. This kicks in every time you enter a new room. So basically, every time you move between areas or go inside houses. The game will automatically save. It's still worth using the save blocks dotted around the world, of course. The toad at Mario's pad even suggests you do with an amusing joke. But as long as you see the little symbol in the corner, you know your progress is safe. Fast travel. One of the most useful new features is the ability to fast travel in the Switch remake. Pop into the menu at any time during the game and select Map, and you'll be able to scroll through a list of locations that you've already visited. What's more, some places, such as dungeons, will let you fast travel to different locations within that place. Handy for some minigames such as the wall climb at Land's End. Quick menu to heal. The quick menu is the place to go to use items and healing spells when you're exploring the world of Super Mario RPG. And you should absolutely use it. Pressing the X button on the Switch pulls up the item menu, while Y brings up the spells. Using items as much as possible in Super Mario RPG because they're cheap and they're easy to pick up as you progress through the game, and this makes the process much quicker. Item storage box. You can't carry tons of items in Super Mario RPG, but you can have 10 mushrooms on you at once, for example. However, you'll also now have access to a storage box located in Mario's pad at the start of the game. While in the original game you were limited to what item limits you could carry in your immediate inventory, the remake will automatically send excess quantities straight to your storage box, and you can pull them from the box when your inventory is low. Damage all enemies. Relating to the action command prompts, if you time your button press perfectly, you'll do damage to every single enemy on screen in the Switch remake. This is really handy when paired with enemy status, where you can see how close they are to being defeated. Sometimes that splash damage is enough to take them down. Action command prompts. Action commands allow you to deal more damage and reduce the damage you take in combat. And in Super Mario RPG on the Switch, you will see a little exclamation point to help you with your timing. If you press the action button as this appears, you'll do extra damage to the enemy. Eventually, it will stop appearing as you get better, but if you need a helping hand, it'll reappear eventually. Triple moves. Is it really a remake without flashy new moves and animations? Super Mario RPG on the Switch introduces triple moves, or as I call them, triple attacks, and the action gauge. When the action gauge, which is in the bottom left corner of the screen, reaches 100%, you'll be able to do a triple move as long as 3 of your party members are alive. Every trio has a different triple move, and they're extremely good. If you don't have a full party, the gauge can be used to summon a support toad who will give you a chance to gain a special effect such as an attack or a defense boost. Chained attack buffs. Another part of the action gauge that's less obvious is the chained attack buffs. Every single party member brings a specific party buff to the table, and if you chain together perfectly timed hits, you'll get a passive stat boost for the fight. You'll see which buffs you've got every time your action command hits well as whether the buff increases. Party swapping mid-battle. Though the original game allowed characters not in your immediate party to gain experience and level up, you could not swap out party members on demand. However, the remake allows you to not only swap out a character in your party for someone on standby, but they'll also be able to perform an action on that same turn. This will let you bring in a character for emergency healing, exploit weaknesses, and even set up for a different triple attack. This even works when one of your party members has been knocked out at 0 HP or is under certain status effects like sleep, allowing you to quickly swap in an able character without having to waste a turn reviving or curing, though the character you sub out will retain their effects for the rest of the fight. Higher coin cap. In the Super Nintendo version of Super Mario RPG, you can only carry 999 gold coins with you at once. But that's not the case in the Switch remake, however. I am not sure what the cap is in the remake, but I've seen someone with 4,300 coins. So you can easily zoom past that 999 level. I assume the cap this time around is probably 9,999, but I have not been able to verify that quite yet. Help menu in combat. If you're stuck in battle, you can now bring up a little menu which contains tips on how to play through battles in Super Mario RPG. You can access this by pressing B and then selecting the help option in the menu during combat. This is good for recapping basic information in case you need a refresher. No more missables? In the Super Nintendo version of Mario RPG, there is one hidden treasure box that if you don't do it right, you can miss it forever. However, in the Switch remake, that's been changed. While the chest is in the same location, there is more opportunities to jump on Toad's head to try to get it anytime you want. Monster List. The journal has a lot of handy little features to help you track your progress, but one of my favorite things is the monster list. The bestiary lists every single enemy in the game, including their weaknesses, items they drop, and if you manage to use Mal's Thought Peak on them, their inner thoughts. You can even check out all the monsters' unique animations. Post-game bosses. Super Mario RPG on the Switch introduces a short post-game, and if it's a challenge you're after, then this is where the toughest content of the game is tucked away. To access these bosses, you'll need to first roll credits on the main game. Then you'll need to beat all of the bosses, including the 2 optional bosses in the main game. Then you'll be able to take on some tougher fights. Now for my final thoughts on the game. I was immediately excited for this game when I saw it teased in the Nintendo Direct. I thought this game was given the proper treatment with the included quality of life features. I love the triple moves, or as I call them, triple text a la Chrono Trigger. Even the added feature of adding a prompt to when to block an attack or a magic spell really makes a huge difference. To be honest, if or when I come back to this game, I actually will choose this over the original. What do you guys think of this game? Have you played it yet? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlackOmen219, and I'll see you all in the next one.